with me. So I guess let's do a quick, I want to know 2 or 3 people in the room and what your expectations are for the session. My name is Salami. I'm a partner at a venture studio, or we like to call our indie venture studio, which is indie stands for independence, or what I call it, the indie, the typical indie that you know in the movie industry, or in the content industry. But our focus is primarily, I think I'm supposed to do an invite on this image, right? Modesta, correct? Because I see that it is a mirror image, but maybe we'll progress because of time. I'll get it right afterwards. We
Right, no problem.
Yeah, our desire as a business is to build companies that create what we call prosperous communities. That's pretty much what I have spent, the best part of the last 10 years on. And I'm excited about the businesses that we have created, some of which have been venture funded and some that have been founder funded. And we've seen a mixture of success in those 2 business models. But yeah, I'm excited about what we're building. We have business in the food, we have business in prop tech, we have business in SaaS, just general software, and we've built a business in the fintech space. And I think I am personally focused on our next, I call it fintech powered venture. It's a service marketplace. I think what's most exciting, or perhaps what I'm most excited about, is that across all of our solutions, we've at least served, at least once, close to 10 million Nigerians. So that is what I'm most excited about. So good to be here. Who wants to go? Can I see a show of hands? 1 or 2 people. I might have a prize at the end of the session for the best engaged audience.
Okay, please unmute your mic and try to interact. I mean, we might have a prize.
Good morning. My name is
90 seconds, who you are, what you're doing right now, and why you're here. Why are you attending this project management and partnership session?
Okay, my name is Azuka ICOBA. The managing director of Kuzo Global Services. We are into logistics, consumables, and general contracts. And I'm telling this section because project management is one of the key things we handle, and I want to be able to improve more on handling more projects and also to learn from people that are seeing business ahead. So that was one of the reasons why I stayed back for the session. And I've been staying back for all the other sessions. So just scale up is something I take very, very, very serious.
All right, thank you. So I get you, you're a logistics company, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so why project management? You say you do project management, is something you do a lot. I would have thought that process management is what you guys do a lot in terms of getting products from point A to point B so many times every day.
We also do some other things in terms of product sales and supply chain. So that's why I believe it's part of all our encompassing projects. Sometimes it might be building materials, sometimes it might be clothing, sometimes it might be interior and fittings and all of that. So,
Understood. Understood. Right. Thank you very much for that. Sorry, you said your name, people call you what? Your name is very interesting. So what do I call you?
My name is Azuka Ego. You can usually break it into 2. You can call me Azuka or you can call me Ego.
Okay, Azuka. All right. I like Azuka. Ego, I remember Lagwaja when I was, so let me just stick to Azuka.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Azuka. Toyin Akinwale.
Okay.
Okay, that's my name. Oluwatoyin is my name. I
Okay.
an ICOBA like 2004, and I'm into printing. My business name is Falcon Communications Limited, and we handle projects of printing, of banners, SAVs, and programs. Event programs. So
No, sorry,
I'm
sorry, I
just
didn't get it very clearly. I like the way Azuka said we're into logistics. It's very clear. One of our food business, we sell meat and on Lanta, that kind of thing. I like it. Very clear.
okay.
People sell it online. So it's very toolish,
Okay.
online orders, invoice and all those things. But still, I just say we're no different from the meat seller in Sabo market. The only difference is that we do our packaging differently. We have, Instagram type of feel, technology type of feel, but we just sell meat. So
Okay.
what do you do?
Okay. Into general printing. That's we print anything printable, invoices, uh, programs or events, wedding programs, burial programs,
So you kind of
banners for advertisements,
workshop,
service.
or just offer the service and you outsource the printing to different printers?
We have a press. We outsource also when it comes when some projects are massive and
So
they are out of. Okay.
what are you looking forward to today?
Okay, so I'm looking forward to the how to manage those the services I offer, how to maximize the management. That's what I'm basically looking forward to today.
Understood. All right. I want to take one more person. I want to take a lady. Thank you very much, Tony. Ruth,
All right.
you introduce yourself very quickly. Tell us what you do. I do the printing press, and this is what I'm looking forward to. Guys, please let's meet when we're not speaking. Ruth, very quickly. Is Ruth one of our attendees, or have I called the wrong name?
Chat show on
Hello,
mute.
good morning.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Ruth.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Ruth. You see, I'm a product designer at Christian.
Okay. You're part of the team. Okay. So why are you attending this session? Oh, yeah, now, since you are here.
I just want to learn more about project management.
I just want to learn more. Okay, okay. So you're not attending just as a program member. You're attending to come and,
Yeah, I'm intending to learn also.
okay, fantastic. Okay, great. Thank you, Ruth. Thanks, Ruth. Thanks, Tony, and thanks, Azuka. I hope the next 30 minutes will be a useful 30 minutes for all of us. So product management and partnerships, right? Now, I'm not a great product manager. Let me put it that way. Maybe I am. And the reason I say those two things is that I've managed several projects in the last 14 years. I think, even though I say I'm not a great project management has probably been one of the things I've done the most. In fact, I'm not sure why they gave me this topic, but I think maybe they know me more than I know myself. Seeing a process go from start to finish, no, seeing a project, something go from 0 to 1 is probably the thing I love doing the most. When we have built it and we want to run it, the process, I'm not your best guy. I do it, I've done it severally, where I've managed a team of 50 people, in our business, worried about paying them, HR, finance, tech, operations, growth, legal, compliance, all sort of things. Oversee all of that on a day-to-day basis. But let's park that. Product management is a very simple, we have this objective. We're trying to go from point A to point B in this amount of time with these key stakeholders. Now, the proper way to run a project is to have a project plan. Let me see if I can show you guys. I'm trying to see. this session is being broadcasted. So, okay, I'm going to show you guys a template instead of showing one of my plans. So where I was going is that the best way to run a project is to have a plan. Literally, perfect. Good. I have one that I can show you guys here, and perfect. But I'm going to go back and show you how I got here. Sometimes I do it, I come up with a plan, depending on the type of project. Sometimes I just execute. I don't bother trying to come up with an elaborate plan and all of these things, right? Yes, perfect. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
This is a simple Gantt chart, and it's freely available on Google Sheets. You can see it, docs.google.com/spreadsheet. And you can just pick it right there, project timeline. If you want to do other things like project tracking, you can also do it. So now, my point is that the beginning of any project is planning for it. And there are a bunch of free tools, sufficient amount of free tools and templates online. Don't even let anybody, stress you or give you plenty story. I just opened one, this is another one, this is another one. They're like, I've opened like 3 different versions now that you can use to track your project. The one that has a cost breakdown, the one that has just sort of the Gantt charts, like showing a calendar and a timeline and all of those things. I think that as a general principle, the act of planning is, I'll dare to say, even more important than the plan itself. So the document is not the thing. It's a process of thinking through it, especially with your team and stakeholders. Say, these and these and these and these and these are the things that we're going to achieve in this project, in this timeline, and then following through with it. Now, it's not going to be a theoretical session, so I'll stop sharing. You guys can go and look at that anytime. What I found that 3 key things help the projects I've been on successful. Number 1 is a very clear outcome in mind. Now, that outcome might be print 5,000 notepads in 2 days. Very clear, very defined. The outcome might be research to decide what is the best material to use for printing 5,000 notepads. Now, the second one might seem unclear in that you're not printing anything. You're just going to, what will come out is probably a sample. But if so that, again, once the outcome is clear, everything else becomes easier. You know who the stakeholders are, who will be affected by this decision, who needs to be consulted. You can use your RACI matrix: responsible, accountable, consulted, informed. That's what the RACI matrix is. Again, a lot of these things happen where depending on the complexity of the client and the project, will determine sort of like the complexity of the things that you need to consider when you're planning out a project. Like I said, RACI is responsible, so that's the owner. Like Root is the owner of the design. If the design is not clear, it's not good, it's Root's fault. So Root is responsible. Accountable will be Root and maybe somebody else, maybe a line manager, head of marketing or whatever, who is responsible for, accountable for ensuring that this thing is done well. It can also be Root and only Root. It's also possible. Consulted is the person that is not necessarily accountable or responsible for that outcome, but if you don't consult that person, you might not get the full results. And then informed is somebody who you need to notify, like maybe your CEO or the local government or your authority that, maybe you've gotten permits for something. And they said, before you, when you are, I'm trying to look for the best example. Maybe a customer, you're trying to deliver something to a customer. I need to inform the customer, our delivery person is on his way. Oh, please be ready for receiving the product. They've informed the person. So, and that's just an example. Now, if we have all of these things clear, the objective, your stakeholders, and what they how to achieve that objective, you have your plan clear, and you have your budget clear. You have started. You don't have to go and get the project manager certification. I'm not sure I ever got one, but I think I tried. I think I was forced to do some of those things, and it's important to do them. So if you want to be a super certified project manager, there are CPM and those type of courses that you can take. But that's, I think, for me, is the fundamental of project management. An example is I had a project 10 years ago. Two projects I want to describe. One was 14 years ago, and the objective was very simple. We had 400 students who were shipped in, is the word that came to my mind. They were shipped into Abuja from everywhere around the country, and a few West African or a few African countries. Shipped into Abuja, 400 students. So you can imagine what that is. For a 1-month training program in filmmaking, directing, acting, editing, the guys that produce your Nollywood, your music videos, and so on and so forth. Your news production. So we had like people from AIT, NTA channels, church media, church groups, people that wanted to, whatever, acting, different people. And we also flew in 60 lecturers from the US, all having to stay in Abuja. So you have to house them, you have to transport them to their classes, you have to, because we didn't get accommodation in the venue for the training. You have to ensure they have all their training materials, because it wasn't a physical school at the time, so a bunch of all those stuff. I think my role was mostly around the transport, the housing, and the feeding. And one of the things I had to do was go to the BRT of Abuja. I think it's called OMSCO or something like that. Abuja Mass Transit, Urban Mass Transit Transport Company, something like that. And beg the CEO to make sure he releases buses for us on time so that we can transport the bus, the people back, coordinate with the police. Because this was time when Boko Haram was also very active. And just ensure that everything was going on smoothly. So my job was to ensure that specific objectives were achieved at a specific time. So I had to be up every time to make sure that those things were properly checked. The other example I'll give is when we are, this was several years after, this was 4 years after that, I'd fully moved into technology at this time. And I was managing a project to what we call automate the national grid. When Nigeria privatized the power sector, when it was no longer NEPA or TCN or PTN or any of those things, it was now a Disco, a Keja, the distribution side, about 13 of them, 11 local, 2 international. Then you had the generation companies, Geregu, Egbin, and so on and so forth, all the power plants, Transcorp Power, all those things, right? Then you had the guys in the middle, the regulators, the transmission service provider, NEC, Embed, so on and so forth. Our job was to build a dashboard that shows what everybody was doing, people generating the power, people transmitting it, people receiving it, people monitoring and controlling how, when you say grid collapse or, power distribution, that was systems operator. That's what they were called, the unit under TCN. When you say market operator, those were responsible for ensuring that the participants were registered, they had the right licenses, one person was not encroaching on that person's space, and so on and so forth. The payments were moving across all the parties, and they were the ones we were working with. We also had the Transmission Company of Nigeria, the Transmission Service Provider, TSP. So those 2 units were under the TCN, which was at that time what were left of NEPA, Transmission Company of Nigeria. And all these parties, transmission service providers, and they had a threshold of how much power they can lose, which is a natural physics phenomenon. It's like when you're sending water, some of it will be lost somehow, possibly. It might never be 900%. But electricity is even more difficult because you can't store it. You can't, except you put it in a battery, which is something else. Or use it. Anyways, you get what I mean. So they had a loss threshold. I think at that time it was 8.05 or something like that. All of these are public information, by the way. Those share private client information online or in the public media, I'm sure you know. So my job was to ensure that, working with my amazing team, ensure that, this was 10 years ago, ensure that we built a platform that took the data from everybody, determine how much this generator generated, how much some of the generators also took energy from the grid to start up their systems, how much they took, so you net that off, how much was transmitted, how much went from the generation into the incomer and the feeder meters, which is the substations that you see on the road, where the energy gets into, utilization points after going through the 33 kV. And then net all of that off to say, okay, EcoDisco is owing the grid X amount, has collected X amount on behalf of all the parties. The KJ has collected X amount. Yola Disco has collected X amount. Port Harcourt Disco has collected X amount. Ibadan Disco has collected X amount. There are 11 of them in Nigeria and then 2 international. Like I said, those international, again, those are some of the complexities in Nigeria that people don't pay attention to. We have to sell to those guys because one of them, if they dam the water that flows into Kanji to produce their own power, we'll have problems in Nigeria. So they let the river flow, we generate the energy and sell to them. I think those kind of complexities exist. So I'm sure you're wondering why we're selling power to other countries when we don't have enough. It's more complex than that. And then we take all of that data and produce in a short time a report that is then used to settle everybody. That settlement used to take 3 weeks. We crunched it down to 2 days. So to do all the paperwork, call the bank, do all the things that the people that were in charge were doing, it took 3 weeks. But we're able to do all that using technology to boil it down to 2 days. And within 3-4 months of setting that up, we started that, and any transaction didn't fail. The year we ran it, close to $1 billion or so of transactions were done, and we went very smoothly. It wasn't easy. There were so many points where we could have failed. Approvals from all sorts of people, consulting with multiple stakeholders, talking to multiple people to figure out what needed to be done, where there was no existing technology, figure out technology that we can use for it. For example, to get data from the meters, you need internet connectivity. Some of those meters are underground, so there's no internet there. Some of them are in areas where if you decide to put MTN SIM, there might not be MTN network or Glo. So you have to use a multi-telco SIM, a SIM that can connect to multiple telcos. So there's a bunch of things that we did to make sure that the design of the project was successful by identifying the achievement, what we need to achieve, and breaking out all the elements that we need to achieve it, and getting all the parties aligned to say, this is what we want to achieve, this is how we're going to get there, this is how much it's going to cost us, this is potentially how long it's going to take us, 3 to 6 months, 4 to 6 months, to set up the basic infrastructure and then build the other things and run the system. We did that successfully, and it was a very exciting project for me, and we did deliver on that. Now, my goal in telling you this story is for you to see that there are multiple parts to your project, and what is really important is you carefully identifying at the beginning and as you go all the key elements of that project, setting realistic expectations and timelines, and following through line by line to make sure that the project is achieved. If you do that, I think you'll be fine. Now, partnerships and collaboration, I'll talk about that for 5 minutes, and then I'll leave the floor for questions for us to go through the rest of the session. A partner is someone that helps you, that goes along with you on the journey from point A to point B. So I see why it's, this was an interesting combination, right? Project management and partnership. Right now, and I can tell you so many examples of partnerships, but I'll give you, and there are different models. The husband and the wife are partners, right? 2 people founding a company are partners. 2 companies trying to do something together are partners. And they are collaborating to achieve a specific objective. For example, husband and wife are collaborating for the objective of living a life together and giving birth to children together, right? Let's not go into the other complexities of that. Thankfully, I'm in Nigeria at this time. We're also in Nigeria, and Nigeria really recognizes man and woman. So partnership requires 2 things, in my view. Mutual interest, almost like crime, motive and means, right? You have to have a motive that is, clear for why, and you have to have a way to be able to achieve it. Mutual interests and alignment. I think those are the 2 biggest elements of partnership. You can have partners that are significantly divergent in their size. Usually it doesn't work, but when there is alignment, right, it works. Even if the motive is not balanced. For example, MTN can decide to partner with a small software company because they want to, in quotes, support small businesses. That might be the motive that they have. But otherwise, it's a waste of time for both parties. If you see what I'm trying to say. So you want to find a partner that has a very clear motive that you both of you can align to. Or if you're not clear about their motive, you need to see if there is a way for you to create that motive for them. If there is no motive that is clear to both parties, mutual interest, forget it. It's not really going to work eventually. One party will not be as vested as the other, and ultimately it will fall apart. And then meaning there's a clear approach that both of you can use to achieve it. Recently, we have a product that we're launching where we're partnering with different people. One of them is the bank. And the bank is helping us it's providing the wallet that we're using to power our solution, and also providing some other services like lending to our customers. It's a mutual benefit because our business is in the service area, right? Services, different services, education, healthcare, and so on and so forth. So it's good for them because it doesn't compete with their core business, in a sense, but it brings them more customers. And it's good for us because even though the banking piece is an important part, the way our business is structured, we don't want to then have to become a bank per se. So the partnership or collaboration in that sense makes a lot of sense. The money sits with the bank in the wallet and APIs that they provided to us to provide on our platform. And if I give you an example of what this is, it's like maybe you are trying to pay in a restaurant and they say pay to this account number. Maybe you are paying to pay on Paystack, Piggyvest or one of those things, and you're paying to an account number that is powered by Polaris Bank or Providus Bank or whatever. That's the partnership between Paystack and that bank to enable that transaction to be successful. So a partnership can go a very long way. In fact, my most successful efforts ever have been those that I've done with a partner who we have found mutual motive and mutual alignment on. If you can establish those two things, motive and means, I think that, which is, alignment, means is motive is alignment, mutual interest, and means is how is this going to be done? Do you both have what it takes? And can you get it as you go if you don't have it all at once to be able to achieve those? If you can achieve those two things, partnership is what I would advise as many people as possible to go into. Now, you have to be careful. Not all partners really have your interest in mind. I don't know how to put it to you guys. There are some payment companies in Nigeria, a few, one or two, big ones. Some of them are very good friends, but I would never work with, as an example, in the fintech space, because they are just looking out for how to copy what you are doing. One of them, I've even told it to my face. So I mean, we suppose they do that the way they do, literally. So you want to be careful who you partner with, and you want to be sure that you have clear agreements in place before you reveal excessively sensitive and confidential information or potential trade secrets to partners. But where you can find a partner, and we've found that in many scenarios where we have partnered up to do something with somebody and it has generated hundreds of millions of naira in revenue for us and our businesses. And those have been valuable. And typically, the same is always for the other partners. Sometimes we make more money, sometimes our partners make more money. But revenue share agreements and things like that are very, very vital in succeeding in your business. And what you want to do is you want to ensure that what you're offering is important enough for that partner, that they are willing to take the efforts to put in the work to make it work. Otherwise, one of you will be wasting the other person's time. And the partnership conversation can drag on for so long and still not get anywhere. So choose carefully your partners. When you have the right partners, work with good faith, honesty, and there's also a lot that can be achieved. I'll leave the floor now so that we can ask questions and I can take specific examples, and then we'll close. Questions, please. While I'm waiting for someone to ask a question, so an example came to my mind: logistics. Azuka is logistics, yes?
Yes, I'm here. I'm listening to you, sir.
Okay, how many deliveries are you doing in a day or a week right now?
Okay, because of the issue with bike, we focus on interstate and hello, can you hear me, sir?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we do deliveries to B2B and also direct consumer. So in a day, um,
Just Azuka, guess what, guys? One of the secrets to in business success that I have had to learn the hard way is you want to answer your question directly as quickly as possible. And if there's time, you then provide additional context. So if I ask, how many deliveries are you doing a day or in a week? I want to hear a number first.
okay,
You see what I
in
mean?
a week,
I say we do, I say we do in total about 5 deliveries a week, and half of them are for business cost to business, and half of them are B2C, and then explain. But you want to give me the answer very quickly so that I'm not struggling and I'm so that I'm even forgetting what you have asked me. It's one of the things I'm about to learn the hard way when I'm pitching, when our business is about to pitch to investors. Once you don't answer quickly and clearly, you are losing trust with them. So try again.
Okay, we do basically 20 on a weekly. On a daily, we do 5.
You did 20 in a week and daily you do 5.
Yes.
Okay.
Majorly, some are outside interstate and some are within the state, within the Lagos metropolis.
And what would you say is stopping you? When did you start?
2 years ago, sir.
2 years ago.
Yeah, I was working with a logistic company before I got started my own.
Okay. Because I would have said that you should be doing way more than that. Partnership might be what you need. For example, our food business, where we deliver to homes and businesses, we do an average of 50 every day minimum, sometimes more, sometimes 80. We have 6 riders that go and do the deliveries. So, for example, go online, a lot of internet businesses, you have riders, I assume?
At the inception, I had 2 riders, but the bikes are down. So now I just use other means. I really need to get more bikes and trusted people that will manage.
Yeah.
So
So
my 2 bikes are down.
yeah, I think the secret is just partnering with, I'll give you an example. Logistics is a big headache for us. And when I say headache, I don't even mean it in a bad way. I mean, it's just one of those, it's probably one of the biggest failure points. You are taking a product, we sell livestock, right? We're taking a product to a customer. And a rider that is supposed to go and deliver something in Lekki phase 1 decides to go first to Aja or Songotedo. You see what I'm saying? Azuka, I'm sure you understand. And then come back to Lekki phase 1 to deliver this. I don't understand. You left Lekki phase 1 and went all the way to Aja, Songotedo, and all those places. The food might have spoiled. So you get scenarios where you have a product of 150,000, 200,000, 300,000. And customer is saying, half of it is bad, I'm returning it. So what am I saying? I'm saying, and the riders do not, how much is their income? Maybe the best of our riders will make over
I
100.
actually engaged somebody yesterday for a partner. So because I learned something from previous mentor about non-disclosure agreement. So I'm trying to study that. Because
Yeah.
from the
NDA,
last lecture, the last mentor, he took as a previous section from one of the mentors, he made mention of non-disclosure and an agreement before going into partnership. So I'm still
yes,
trying to study that because
yes.
I actually discussed with a friend yesterday for partner, as in to come and be my partner. But I told him we have to work on the non-disclosure and agreement. So I want to
That should,
discuss with one
that
of
should be
the
standard.
lawyers.
Having guess what? God is doing good things, in quotes, because I'm worried about Skynet. If you know it, you know it. Skynet is in the Terminator series that machines will destroy the world, but that's a story for another day. But don't worry, don't stress yourself about lawyer right now. You can, if you have one, if you can afford it. But ChatGPT and a lot of online tools, AI, if you describe what you're trying to do, you put in the name of the person, the details, they will give you a very clean agreement. ChatGPT will do it for you, free, free, completely free. You don't even need to subscribe the $20 a month to get it. So use ChatGPT for some of these things. I use it a lot for a lot of things. Coming up with GP for some of our team members, a lot of things we can't think about. They'll come up with it. And all we do is put it on a document, clean it up, review it, make sure it suits our need, and it's good to go. So, but my point here is that, Azuka, that you can do a lot more, and partnership can help you. Just being that person that says, Madam, don't worry, we have you covered. In fact, we'll share in the loss. Have that kind of confidence and treat your riders well, manage them well, make them happy, give them insurance, health insurance. Tell them that every week they can get 10,000 naira advance if they need it, as long as they're performing well. Small things. There's absolutely no reason why you're not doing 100 deliveries a day. Our business alone can give you half of that. I'm not saying you, I don't run a number of our businesses, so I'm not even the decision maker. And all the riders that we use today, 80% of them have been with us for 3 years. We don't own the bikes. They work with us, not for us. They deliver to our customers. They have to deliver on time. Whatever the customer pays, essentially all of it goes to them. So we are their customers. We bring them business, a lot of it. Some of our riders get 50, 70,000 every week. I think I've heard of a rider that got 90,000 in a week. One rider. And that's how much in a month? 360,000, 350,000. I don't think that's bad though. I might be wrong. So partnership might be the way for you to go around customer acquisition, around talk to internet businesses, give them confidence. You make some mistakes, go the extra mile. Let them be the first person they want to call. There are some things that you waive. For example, in our business, that particular business that handles logistics, that has logistics as a component, we don't care about logistics. We don't really make money from logistics. It's not our business, right? We don't, so we just want the right partners to do it for us. In some of those scenarios, some of those riders, they bring our own supply to our store for free. And those are reliable riders, because the more reliable and the more friendly the rider is to our business, the more business we give to that rider. So someone we know, we can call her, please go to Sule and help us pick up this thing. Sometimes we pay, of course, but some other times it's on their way to pick up the order. Say, on your way, please pick up these items for us. And it's done. They do it for free. Now imagine you position yourself as that to a lot of these small businesses that need delivery. That's it. You say, call us if you need anything. You want to bring something to your store. We'll do you 5 deliveries free every week, because you're taking it to their store. Remember, it's their supply. And then it's still those same people that will give you 100 things that you're going to sell to customers. You see what I mean? So anyways, that was an example I wanted to share. I don't know if anybody else has any other questions.
Thank you, sir. I'm really, really happy for all this project. I think I'm able to jot down something.
You're welcome, Azuka. I know you do great. Please feel free to unmute and ask any question you have.
Okay. So if you have any question, if you're not comfortable unmuting your mic, you could put that in the chat box here, and we'll attend to you. Okay.
All right. Barring any questions, I hope this has been a useful session. Ruth, was this helpful? Do you want me to give
Please,
you
if you're present, could you unmute your mic, please? Ruth, what you will say?
Okay, hi, I'm here.
Yes, Ruth, I would love to.
Yes, sir.
You were my only, you were my selected contributor. Let me give you a chance to ask the question you want. Or let me ginger you to ask any question you'd like to ask. Like, how is project management useful to your design work, for example? Or how is partnership useful to your design work? Anything. If you have, if you don't have, it's okay.
I just feel mine is like a contribution. I feel in designing products that we really need project management to, organize our tasks. Um, there's this thing we use. We use Jira. I don't know, Jira, right? So
Yes.
we use Jira to upload tasks, have designers come there to see their tasks, and then when they're done with the task, they just click finish and everything. So it's just really nice. I like project management. It helps to make our tasks easy, everybody getting their work like at the right time and just completing the task without much stress. You don't need to go on WhatsApp with texting, do this, do that. All those management tools help to make tasks very easy for everybody.
Fantastic. Thanks for that contribution, Ruth. I think,
I really love
sorry, I think Azuka, I find that very helpful. What Ruth just described now is a sub-element of project, which is task management. There are different tools that you can help use to manage your task. In logistics, that's where you have Uber, Bolt, and all these logistics riders. Essentially, those apps are literally just task management apps, which is pick up a passenger, that's a task. Drop off at this point is a task, and so on and so forth. In software, which is where Jira, which is what she's describing, you have designed this landing page, design this mobile screen, design this flyer. These are all different tasks that have different people that want to engage in that. So I think yeah, non-tech businesses have a lot to learn from the tools that tech folks have built to be able to achieve different projects. That project might be build this application, but inside that application, there are multiple screens and multiple tasks that needs to be built again. Jira, J-I-R-A, J-I-R-A, Jira, that's what it's called. There are many other types. Jira is very heavily skewed towards technology projects, but there are the likes of ClickUp, Monday, different other tools. Just go on Google or go on ChatGPT and say, tell me the best project management tools in the world. After it answers that, give it the next prompt. Says, give me clear details around the ones that are useful for the logistics industries and tell me why. Just ask it in that way, and I think you'll like the answer that you get. Thank you very much for that contribution. Tony, I'll take that last question and then we'll wrap up. We'll close.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, facilitator. God bless you. I really enjoyed all these tips for project management and partnership. Coming from you. This is about the first lecture I would ever hear about project management. I used to think project management is something, something out of line. But of course, you made mention of mutual interest and alignment. When it comes to partnership, and I think partnership is what is the secret for me now, because I want to, as a printer who, I have had opportunities to spread my advert work, like if I print ID cards now, for instance, and I'm looking forward to those people who need ID cards. The first people who come to my mind is students, and some organizations that have a lot of staffs. You understand? So in that aspect, I just have, because I'm on a small level, and I have one Canon printer that can print, at least it can print more than 100 ID cards in a day. But the first thing to sort first is how to get people to to purchase my, my what I'm doing, the service I'm rendering for them getting ID card. Now, the question goes thus. So how does the question is on partnership now. So what is the best method, or what's the best tool to go about getting people to partner with me? I mean, like the Bible will say that one would chase 1,000, 2 10,000. So how do I get somebody who would really partner with me, who would have the same, who align with me, just like you said, and have a mutual interest, okay, with me in my printing business?
Founder, or what are you looking for?
Yeah, a partner who can probably maybe make the work more easier, or sponsor financially, something of that nature, and we'll both
Well,
benefit. You get a cut, I'll get a cut.
There's a guy I think you should reach out to who can advise better on this. Because he's more experienced in the printing space. His name is Ope Ekundayo, if I'm correct. He's one of the co-founders, and I think he's the current CEO of Printivo. Sure, you know Printivo.
Yeah, I know Printivo. Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah.
the current?
No, I don't know the current CEO.
All right, printing is your business, so he's the best person I'll say. But generally speaking, partnership is about putting yourself out there, right? Like when you want to get married, you have to meet a man or a woman. You have to go to
It's super someone who understands you.
Yes, go to the kind of places that you want to meet, the kind of person that you're looking for. If you are looking for, I don't want to be judgmental, because I'm a non-judgmental person. People should do what they want. You go to a club to look for a husband. You're lucky, you find a type of husband. Sometimes if you go to a church, you find worse husband. So it takes prayer, or wife, and vice versa. But you have to just, you can't stay in your house. And I know that that's not what you mean, but I mean, go to places where, people are looking for people in the printing industry. And the alternative is also talk to people in the companies that are, that are doing printing business, and see who, organize a co-founder session. There's nothing stopping you from doing it. Invite 20 people in business, call it a co-founder speed dating, and say, hey, the goal here is very simple. We're going to do this once every 3 months, so that people in the printing industry that want to collaborate can meet each other. Make sure there's a diverse category of people in the session. That's where you're going to get some of these things to happen.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
You're welcome.
So I think we'll close with that. Thank you all so much. Modesta? Hello?
Okay, apologies for that. Okay, thank you so much for that lovely session. I'm pretty sure everyone here learned something, one or two things.